So we'll see how to apply inline styles conditionally in Vue. Normally we apply some inline styling, like inline styling is not as good as applying uh, like what do you say, styles which are separate. But so sometimes you would apply inline styles. Now sometimes you would also want to apply inline styles conditionally. That is, if some condition is met, we want to apply some styles. So we'll see how that is done in Vue.js. So let's take a copy of this template. Right? And what we'll do is we'll display a message with some nice styles applied. Message in the sense, in your application, you'll be displaying some messages to alert the user. So something like that, when an error occurs or you're warning something or you say some success, we are able to save your data or whatever, right? Or send a mail or whatever. So we will maintain a message in our data. Something went wrong, like unable to send you, save your data, whatever. And the status, what kind of message it is, it's an error message. Okay, you might have something warning message or a success message similarly. So we'll have two buttons to change these messages. So in here, we'll have one div showing the message. And two buttons. One to show an error message like this. So this button on click, I'll call a function set error message. And we have to write this function. Basically, when you click this, we'll call this method. So methods and set error message. All this will do is it will set the message property to what we have initially, this one. And the status property to error. And we want to switch to another kind of sorry, you also want to set another kind of message. So warning message also will create a method. Let's say your data, all your data will take some time to reflect. Maybe consider it something like an information message, but I'm saying warning. Okay. That's besides the point anyway. So we have these two, we have two buttons, one to set the warning message. Let's see if it's working. We have the message, so something went wrong, and set error message. We'll get some classes also. BTN, BTN, SM, BTN primary. Okay, or maybe I'll show danger, which is a red color button. These are all bootstrap classes, BTN danger and BTN warn. I show the yellow color button. Okay. Why doesn't that come? BTN, BTN, set warning message. I think it's warning, not warning. I don't know. Okay, I am not so bothered about the class. I'll say info. I'm sure info is there. Still not coming. Button click, set warning message, set warning message. Must be doing something incorrect. Slash button. Right, you can change this to warning effect. Okay, that's the warning color. So when we click on this, you have something went wrong. When you click on this, you have your data will take some time to reflect. And we'll give some styling according to the status. So we'll put a box around this with some padding, box around this message. So we'll give normal inline styling for this. Of course, we could also give a class, but we are talking about how to do conditional inline styling. So we'll also give the normal styles to be applied using inline styling itself. Just to go hand in hand with the way we are applying the styles based on the status. So here for this, we'll give the class okay, maybe let's just apply some normal. So we'll give through inline styling, right? So we'll say style actually. So of course, in Bootstrap, you do have these classes and all like border, primary and all, which we could use border, danger, but we'll do our own styling. So we'll say border, 1 pixel solid black, 1 pixel solid black. We'll give some border radius. We'll set it to something like 4 pixels. Some paddings. Let's say 12 pixels. And let's look at this first. Great, we have some kind of styling. Also add some margin with the bottom. So let's say 16 pixels. Okay, so we added some styling. All right. Maybe at the top also some margin. So we'll actually say margin 16 0. Right. 16 for top and bottom, 0 for left and right. We'll go clockwise basically, and opposite sides get the same value in this case. So something went wrong. And you want to style this box. Like you want to give a red color border and a light red background with an error message, and a yellow border color with yellow, a light yellow kind of background color for this box, based on the status. So that is conditional styling. Based on some condition, you set some styling, inline styling, conditional styling. So how do we do that? So apart from the normal style, you can actually data bind to it. You know how to data bind, colon something. Colon to you'll do attribute binding for the style attribute, colon style. That's all. It's as simple as that. But that can take the value that attribute when it's bound, style attribute, it can take value in various formats like an object or a string. Let's start with the basic way. You can give that as a string, right? So what you can do is you can form a string. You can form a string with the styles. Okay. So let's create a message style. Property. So usually it's created as what is called a computed property. We're not yet seen computed property, so we'll see it very shortly. For now, I'll create a method. Usually it's not created using a method, but there's nothing too wrong with it, except a computed property will be more efficient in terms of updates. So set message style, or we'll just say message style. So you have a method which will return the value of this. So you'll be returning a string. And what do we want? It's based on the status. So we'll check on the status. If status, this dot status is error, then what we return is what should be the conditionally applied style. So if it's error, what should we apply? Border color would be red. And so what do we apply to the style tag generally? Like this. Border color would be red. and background color, there's a color in CSS called tomato. So I'll apply that. Similarly, okay, else if, else would do because we have only two kinds of status right now, but we can use this switch case also would be good. So status is warning. We'll return border color yellow and background color light golden rod. That's also color in CSS. So message style is what style should be set to. So what you do is you use colon style, and you can use both of these together actually. So you can use the normal style attribute and the bound attribute binding. With both together you can use. We'll combine the two to give the final style. So this will be combined with what you give here, and that would be the final one. And the preference would be given to the colon style only. So you would call message style function, and that would return the rest of the styles. Both will be combined here to form the final style. Let's see that. So must be doing some mistake. Unexpected token, 56. Oh, here there's some mistake. I have not closed this function here. Yeah. Okay, so you can see it's coming in red. When you click here, it comes in. Oh, background color must be spelling mistake. Background color, light golden rod. I think it's not called light golden rod. I'm sure there's one golden rod. Let me give that. So click, yeah, that's great. So border is slightly different. It's a yellow and the background color is slightly different. It's not so obvious because the thickness of the border is small. I hope you can see here there's a red and there's a tomato inside. So this is how you can apply conditional style. So based on a condition, you can apply. Now the actual way we do it, the general way we do it is through what is called computed property. And one more thing, we can give this in various ways. You don't need to give a string. This colon styles value can, the value can be supplied as an object as well. So of course we can do this, but let's use a different way. We give it as an object where the properties would be similar to the CSS properties with one difference. If you have hyphens here in the CSS property name, like two words, hyphen, border, hyphen, color, it gets the camel cased version of it. This is true even in JavaScript DOM. DOM has a style property, the DOM nodes. Yeah, there also the properties look like this. So border color, you set to a string in this object property. Background color similarly. C becomes caps, the hyphen goes away. Would be tomato, again as a string. This is how you give it. Okay. So you can return like this as well. This helps you, giving things as objects will help you maybe if you have 2-3 objects to combine it using spread operator. It makes it easy to combine if you have in different parts what style to set in different objects to combine those, because objects are easier to work with and merge when compared to strings. So this, and here it would be yellow golden rod. Okay, so this will also work. So you can see it works. Yeah, works. So you can give it as an object as well. So that's the other way. The only thing you need to remember in this object, you have to give the hyphenated version, you have to convert it to a camel cased version, the CSS properties. Now, generally we use computed property, and we'll see soon what computed property is. But at least now we'll look at how to set it up using a computed property. We have seen the options in the options object that we pass to the root instance. While creating the root instance, we've seen data, we've seen methods, we've seen template. But now we're going to see another one called computed. I'll add it here, in fact, after data, because it's related to the data. Computed properties are like data only, but they are derived from the data. they derive from the data object. What I mean is this: let's say you move this here, this method, and computer properties are defined as methods, are defined as methods. So although they're defined as methods, at computer we are saying message style and we're doing it the same way, they are actually accessed as normal properties, defined as methods, but accessed in the template, accessed in the template or in other methods, accessed as properties. If you are aware of getters, accessor methods in JavaScript, get, set, all those, it's like the getter basically. So although it is defined as a method, message style is a method, it is actually available as a property. So when you use it in your template, you actually use it like a property and not like a method. You don't call it, you just use it like a normal property. Whatever value it returns, that's the value of that property. So this will be the value of message style property, computed property. This or this, it will be depending on the condition. So this would also work. Refreshing, you can see it works. Click here, it works. Now, the advantage of keeping it as a computed property is, suppose, so your UI can re-render for various reasons. Any data could change. Here we have just one piece of data, message and status. Now, what if the message only changes? Or what if some other property changes? You have something else in data. Here, of course, you have this message and status, but you could have 100 different things, right? Maybe you have some, you take what is the, what do you say? Something else, right? ABCD, something, something else. So what if you set A? If you are defining it as a method, then what will happen is every time it renders, message style would get called because you're calling the function here earlier. We have done this, that when you're defined as a method, you were calling it. So when the update happens, this template will be reevaluated and this function will get called during every update. You don't have to do that in this case because what will happen in computed properties, actually, I'm actually covering the whole of what computed properties are. What will happen in computed properties is Vue knows to recognize what data variables are being used in computed properties. So it's a special kind of a processing that's done. So it recognizes we are using status data member only in this message style computed property. So it will reevaluate, it will run this function only when status changes, not when message changes in this case, not when some ABCD changes, only when status changes. That's the magic of how Vue.js works. It can recognize in these computed methods what the other data is being used inside, what it depends on. So this will be reevaluated only if status changes because that's what is being used inside this function body. So it's quite intelligent that way. It's built like that. So the reactivity system is this is called the reactivity system of Vue.js. It is intelligent enough to recognize that. So some proxy get accessor methods and all is used, and all that is done when initially this runs. It figures that out when this method runs. So that's the advantage of computer properties. It's more efficient than using methods, right? So go in for this whenever you want to define conditional styling. And we have seen like conditional inline styling, you can also return as a string or as an object.